Hola amigos, welcome back to another one of my Bring a Blanket live writing and productivity sprints. I'm not sure how many people will turn up to this because this is a little bit of a surprise one. Usually I do my sprints on Thursdays and Fridays at 3 p.m. GMT time, but I've got a lot of extra work that I need to be doing in the next few weeks. I've got a manuscript that I need to not only finish, but basically completely rewrite. So I thought some extra sprints would really help with that. If you can just let me know that you can see and hear me okay, that would be really, really useful. I'm running a little bit late because I kind of lost track of time. So I haven't quite set up the timer yet, but I will do that now. That won't take me a second. Let me know what you're going to be working on. Like I say, I've got a manuscript. The working title is His Girl Friday, but that's definitely going to change. And I will tell everybody a bit more about that later on. I see the shadows. Lair is here. Hello. Can you see and hear me? Okay. It's lovely to see you here. How are you? And Dee's here. Hello, lovely. It's nice to have you here. How are you? What are you up to today? Right, so what am I doing? I am tired today. There we go. We're getting up a 20-minute thing. We can do this. We've done this before. We have done this before. We are capable. Okay, L and D says, just popped up on my notification on the way to work. Awesome. Thank you so much for dropping in. I really appreciate it. Lovely. Okie dokes then. Why don't we get started with the first of our sprints today? I'm going to get myself sorted, get my documents up because they're not up at the moment. I do not know what has happened to the day. It is 3 p.m. here and yeah, I don't know what I've done. I took the dogs for a walk, I suppose. Cool. Okay, so I'll start a 20-minute timer. Dee, I'll say bye because you might not be here at the end of it if you're on your way to work, but I will chat to anybody else in 20 minutes. Hiya, everybody. How did that go for you? It was quite a nice little start for me. I had an email that came through that I wanted to deal with. I've got, well, she's a friend of mine, and she's an author who writes medieval romance, and from Melbourne Boone, actually. And I really want to interview her for a video. So I'm trying to organise, though, when I can do that, because I really want to have it instead of one of my regular videos, and I want to do it live. So it needs to be either a Monday or a Friday, and she works full time. So, but she does have some holiday time coming up. So we're just trying to kind of work out when we can possibly do this. Let's see, we had a few other people joining us. SD is here, the lovely Shannon. I didn't realize that she was here because her previous messages didn't show up on my restream chat, but they did on the YouTube one. So anyway, and we also have Joe as well, J.O. Lambo. So that's lovely. And who else did we have? Rachel D. Adams joined us, said, hope everything is going well this morning. I'll be in and out. It's actually afternoon here. R.C. Scott came and put a super cute little purple thing there. I don't even know how you do that, I don't think. Oh, and Estelle is here. In case you guys didn't know, I am going to be over on Estelle's channel later on today doing sprints with her. That's at 8 p.m. GMT, and I will put the link to that in the doodads, unless Estelle actually wants to do it herself, in which case I'll make you a moderator. Let me see, add as moderator. There we go. And so if you want to, Estelle, you can put the link down, but if you don't, then I will. Yeah, there we go. That should, and I'm really looking forward to that. That should be good. And that means I get a nice amount of writing done today, because last week, any of you who were here might remember that I needed to write a couple of synopses. So I sent those off to my editor. One of them, she really liked. The other one, which I knew was the weaker story, she made some absolutely brilliant suggestions for, which is super cool, really, really good. It will really improve the book. But one of the main things is that she really wants it as a Christmas book. Okay, so I can turn it into a Christmas book, no problem. I've got like 38,000 words in it, but some of those will have to be scrapped now. So I'm just trying to get comfy. Anyway, so Christmas book, but I need to deliver it to her by the beginning of April at the very latest. So that is a lot of brand new writing and a lot of rewriting to get done. So I'm really, really hoping to kind of get a lot done today, so that I just feel like I've, you know, made a good stab at it. So that is the plan. Everybody's being very polite and introducing themselves to each other in the chat. I do like that. We're a polite bunch, aren't we? Rachel says, I was able to make an order and make a call that was necessary. You've just reminded me that I need to sort out. There's a local library who are buying a load of copies of my new book, but they need to do it through me because they don't buy directly through Amazon. So I need to sort out that order for them, actually, but I won't do that during this set of sprints. Lovely Estelle has put the link to the sprints later. So yeah, it's going to be starting at 8. Estelle, have you got, how long do you normally go for? Is it 2 hours that you do? Just so I've got a vague idea. I mean, like, depending. I mean, as long as it doesn't go over 3, because that'll be like 11 here. And I need to get my reading in and my beauty sleep, don't I? Oh, Jo's saying congratulations, thank you so much, that's so kind. Yeah, I actually though got really frustrated with myself, because I was trying to work out, okay, how do I make this book Christmassy? That's no problem, I love Christmas, I can do this, when a whole other book idea, a Christmas book, like just popped into my brain. So the other evening, I spent an hour and a half in bed until like nearly 1 o'clock in the morning, plotting out an entire Christmas rom-com, which I also sent to my sister, and I think she really liked that idea as well. So that was cool. Yes, and Joe was asking Estelle what she writes, and she says she writes memoirs and fantasy novels. Yes, Estelle has, I think I'm right, that your latest book is about the time that you spent living in London, and you translated it yourself into French, which is just amazing. I'm sure it was French. And Joe says, that's so cool. I love reading fantasy novels. Yeah, me too. I'm trying to get into them. I just finished Holly Black's The Cruel Prince, which I quite liked. It was quite clever. Quite like that one. I think I will bother to read the rest of the series. And Estelle says, I usually do 2-hour live streams. Oh, that's great. That'll finish at like 10 for me then. That's no problem. That's early for me. And Shadow's Lair got a pinned message by mistake. Never mind. And says starting maths lessons with the kids. Awesome. And Estelle says that's absolutely right. Yay, I got it right. I thought I had. Okay, let's go into another 20-minute writing session before we spend all of our time chatting here today. So I will chat to you all again in 20. Hi, everybody. I hope that second sprint went well for you. I'm still trying to organize a time for my friend to come and be interviewed on my channel. There's some confusion about dates, but hopefully we'll get it sorted out soon. Yeah, I hope that went well for all of you guys. Let's have a look and see what you're up to, what you've been doing in the chats. Basically, I'll just be adding in Christmas stuff. That's my aim for today, is just to add in Christmas stuff. So we were talking about the fact that I'm going to be on Estelle's sprints later, and she says I self-published a travel memoir about my time in London. It also has a guide part and translated myself in French. I didn't realize I had a guide as well. That must have been a huge amount of work for you to do. I can't even imagine trying to do that. Yeah, I grew up in London and I went to UCL, University College London, for university as well, which is right in the centre of London in Bloomsbury. But I don't feel that I know London all that well still. I think when you live somewhere, you don't really maybe take advantage of everything that there is there, and you just kind of take it for granted and don't really bother doing it so much. But my eldest son went to London to stay with my sister last summer, and he had a wonderful time doing loads of the museums and art galleries and walking around London. And then my second eldest is going to be going this year, so he's really looking forward to that. And Joe is saying that that's so cool, which indeed it is. Rachel says, I'll lurk, but getting ready for my own sprints. I did get 2 more alpha reading requests done while here, so thank you. That's some impressive work. Well done. I've never done, I've always referred to it as beta reading. I guess alpha reading is when it's at like still a bit of a mess, would be what I say. I guess it's somebody that you trust really, really well to just check over your manuscript when it's still very raw. I've always just used beta readers. One of my books is with beta readers at the moment. I know a couple of them have finished with it, but a couple of them still haven't, but hopefully I'll have that back quite soon. So that would be good. And that also reminds me of something else that I need to do today that I had forgotten, because another lovely writer friend of mine was going to join me on my sprints on Thursday, but I've actually cancelled my sprints on Thursday because my husband and I are going to go out for the day. And you guys are going to be so jealous when you hear where we're going. We are going to Hay-on-Wye. That is the book town. Look it up if you haven't already. It's on the border of England and Wales. It is in Wales, but it's right on the border, and it's wonderful. It's got loads of lovely, lovely bookshops. They have a festival there once a year at the end of May, beginning of June, like during half term, which is brilliant as well. But we're just going to go and have a look in some bookshops and generally hang out together because we like each other. So that should be really good. Laura Gomez is here. Hi, Laura. Thanks for joining us. She says, wonder what an Amiga reader would be. Yeah. Wonder what a Delta reader would be. We could carry this on for quite a while, actually, couldn't we? And Joe says, do you prefer Joe or Joanne? I can't remember. I'm sorry if you don't like Joe and I'm calling you Joe. Says, I did some rewriting, but it looks like my later chapters are shorter than the previous chapters. I never really, I think I just naturally divide things into chapters. I guess my editors would change it if they felt that there was a problem, but I don't think I've ever really had chapters changed. I always just end a chapter at like the appropriate point, I guess. And Laura Gomez says, oh, lovely. I went to the Hay Festival once, so amazing. Yeah, we have seen some fantastic people there. Stephen Fry, Cressida Cowell we saw with the kids like many, many years in a row. We were basically besties with, she writes the How to Train Your Dragon books. Who else? Oh, we've also seen some amazing singers and things. We saw Bryn Tervel perform there, just so many brilliant people. But the town itself is really, really lovely to visit as well. And it's on the River Wye, hence the name Hay-on-Wye. So there's also some really nice walks down by the river We're going to do one of those. And Joanne says that she prefers to be called Joanne. So I will try to remember that. And that is no problem at all. Okie dokie then. Let's get into another sprint. I need to check my emails because I'm hoping that my editor will get back to me today. So fingers crossed about that. Laura Gomez says, yeah, Stephen Fry. Yeah, I think we may have seen him twice, but it was to do with his. I think one of them was his Troy book, and another one was like Mythos or something like that. So he did brilliant reading. Oh wait, yeah, Brian Blessed. He was absolutely bonkers and brilliant and crazy. Yeah, so many good people. Absolutely fantastic, and really so inexpensive for the people that you're going to see. If you're going to go and see them anywhere else, like it would just be so much more expensive. Joanne says, yeah, first chapter is almost 2K, second is almost 3K, third chapter is almost 4K. Oh, they're just growing and growing, aren't they? Okay, let's start another 20 minutes and we will chat a bit more afterwards. Be productive. Hello. Let me know how that one went for you. We haven't had any word counts today. I won't be doing word counts for a while because it will just be too depressing, because there's sections of this book that I'm just going to need to chop out. So my word count will be going down for a little bit, I think. But what I'm going to do is when I chop a bit out, I'm going to save it in a separate file, because there are some scenes which I'll definitely be able to use in different books. Like there was a chapter that I'd set in Barcelona, and the main characters are there together, and one of them gets sick, the other one looks after them, and then they go around the city together and things. So I think that would be really nice, and I could potentially use that in another book further down the line. So stuff like that I would just cut and paste into another document, so hopefully it's not completely wasted. Anyway, it was good fun to kind of do the research, because I haven't been there for a very long time. So I kind of needed to look things up and plan like a fun day of activities, going to all the things that I thought that my characters would enjoy going to. So yeah, hopefully I can use that for something else. Anyway, I'm getting a bit chilly here, but I think the usual heater that I use down near me, I have got my blanket. I've got my blanket around me. But yeah, the usual heater that I use isn't working very well. And we do have another heater, but it's really noisy. So I might just need to be cold. But I think I will go and get another cup of tea during the next sprint. I'm pretty hungry as well. I'm wondering if I need a snack. I'm starving today. It's one of those days. And it's like that every day for me, isn't it, really? If you've been to these sprints before, you know that I basically eat constantly. But yeah, another cup of tea would be very nice. It is Pancake Day here in the UK today, Shrove Tuesday, but we're not actually going to be making pancakes this evening. We were going to, but one of my boys has got something that he's doing. He's got like an online meeting thing, and then I've got my sprints later with Estelle. So we decided to do them tomorrow, when I will be doing sprints, but I'll be finished at 6. So we've then got the whole evening to relax and make and eat as many pancakes as we want, because making pancakes for 6 people takes quite a lot of time, especially when there's 6 people with very good appetites. And I'm sure the dogs will have to like at least share a pancake as well, won't they? So yeah, it's a good couple of hours to make that many pancakes for everybody. So we don't want to have to rush it at all. So that would be nice tomorrow anyway, even if we're not doing it on the right day. And I just realized that it's not actually that long until St. David's Day. And on St. David's Day, we get to make Welsh cakes, which are super, super yummy. So that would be nice as well. I love baking, I love cooking, but with the baking, I don't do as much as I used to, because I just don't seem to have the time anymore to do it. So it's really lovely when there's a definite occasion, like a birthday or St. David's Day or something like that, when I kind of have to do the baking, because yeah, I do really enjoy it when I actually get round to it. Okie dokes, let's go into another sprint now, because I'm anxious to try and get as much done today as I can, so that I feel a bit better about the amount of work ahead of me. Yeah, so I will speak to you guys again in 20. Sorry, I double clicked on the microphone and turned myself on and then off again, which wasn't very good, was it? I'm dealing with a little bit of a tricky scene at the moment because basically I wasn't going to have my hero in this particular scene, but I've decided that he does need to be around for it. So there's a fair bit of rewriting to do, and I'm trying to work out exactly what point it should be that I bring him into the scene. So yeah, that's what's going on there. It's coming okay, but it's a little bit fiddly, and I don't want to have to be redoing it several times because I get little things wrong. I want to try to get it as right as I can the first time. So I don't know, maybe I'm fussing a little bit too much, but yeah, I want it to be good. Yeah, so that is what I've been working on. I honestly cannot believe that we've been here for like over an hour and a half. I don't feel that I've done very much, but I think that's just because it's quite fiddly work and it will take time. It'll be nice when I'm writing the new stuff, especially because it'll be really Christmassy. So that will be lovely to be doing. So yeah, if you'd like to share any word counts or what you've been doing, that would be absolutely great. Joanne has just put something in the chat. She says, I'm doing some research for my bakery work in progress, which is called Sugar and Spice, I think, and particularly what chocolate smells like. Nice. A friend of mine did a chocolate tasting last week. It was done online, but you get sent all the tasters and everything that you need beforehand. And she did it like with her family. It was somebody's birthday, and there were a load of them, each in their own homes, with this like box of tasted chocolates. I thought that sounded like such a good idea. I mean, obviously you'd rather do it in person, but sometimes it's just not possible. And with all the craziness that's been on over the last few years, I suppose one thing that has come out of it, which is nice, is like new different things like that we didn't really have before, that is bringing people together who can't necessarily do stuff like that, you know, on a day-to-day basis. Project Sugar and Spice, Joanne's reminded me. That was it. I knew Sugar and Spice wasn't quite right. It sounds absolutely brilliant. If you haven't heard Joanne speak about it, it's about a couple of rival bakers. And I just absolutely love that idea. I love enemies to lovers anyway, but you add cake in and I am completely sold. I'm very excited for when this manuscript is complete. We have been joined by the lovely Margaret Pinnard. Hello, Margaret. How are you? I hope you're well. And what are you working on today? Oh, I know what I wanted to say. If there's ever anybody who would like to come and co-host on these sprints with me, it would be absolutely lovely to have you. Obviously, I'll do lots of links to your channel and your work and stuff like that, especially if you've got published work. So yeah, just let me know. Either pop it in the chat if you're interested, or you can send me an email or message me on Instagram or whatever. But yeah, it's always nice to have a co-host. And Joanne says, I'm thinking maybe I'll describe the taste though, because by itself doesn't smell very appealing. Fair enough. Fair enough. Joanne was saying as well, I can't remember where you were speaking about this, but you were a baker, weren't you? Was it you and your mum had a bakery, but it had to close during COVID? So like, you're obviously, you know, this is like the perfect thing for you to write about, really, isn't it? Because you really know what you're talking about. And Margaret isn't working on anything except breakfast. Well, that's an important thing to be working on. We had hot cross buns for breakfast this morning and they were delicious. And Joanne says, oh, before I forget, I'm raising money to commission an artist to illustrate scenes from Project Sugar and Spice. So if anyone wants to donate, here's the link. Yeah, there we go. I think this is a really, really lovely idea. Go and check out Joanne's channel as well. And if you would like to support her, it literally just like whatever you can afford, a pound or two, whatever, but it all just goes towards getting an artist to illustrate some scenes from her manuscript. And cover design as well, or is it just like illustrations of scenes? And Joanne says, I still bake, but occasionally due to work. Yeah, I don't bake as much as I used to either. It's something I really want to get back into because I do love it. But it's finding the time. Well, also, I got out of it because our oven, we lived on a farm for 2 years and the oven there was just rubbish. We had a Rayburn, which was really cool, but not really very good for actual baking. And then we had like an electric oven as well, but it was like the cheapest electric oven. It was a rental property. And so it was absolutely rubbish to do baking in. And then our oven here, we didn't realize that it had like the thermostat was messed up. So basically it was cooking everything at like the highest. So I kept wondering why my cakes were burning so quickly and things. And it was because of that. But I think I just got out of actually doing it. Margaret says, I used to work at a bakery too. Hot cross buns week was always fun. There you go. That must have been an awesome place to work. Yeah, I do like a hot cross bun. On Easter Sunday, we always get like loads and loads of different ones with different flavors and things, and we try them all. But we all decide that we just like the regular ones, to be honest. We get like apple and cinnamon. There's often like caramel ones or chocolate ones. Raspberry and white chocolate, all kinds of different ones, but we all decide at the end that we rather just the normal ones. And Joanne says it's illustrations of scenes. Cool. And Joanne said we need to have a writing stream where we bake something sometime. Oh yeah, that's going to happen. Do you seriously think that I am going to bake at the same time as someone who's a professional baker? Yeah, not going to happen. I'll happily watch you bake. Happily watch you bake, but not alongside you. Not happening. I have my pride. And you know, I'm quite a good baker. I'm just absolutely rubbish at decorating. Let's see, and Shadow's Lair is doing math still. Oh, you sound like my youngest. Sound exactly like my youngest there. And Joanne says, oh, that's so awful. I think that was about my oven. Yeah, luckily we kind of worked out what happened, and my husband is amazing, and he like got a new thermostat or whatever and fixed it, and now it works fine. I just think that when you get out of the habit of doing these things, because when my boys were younger, like there always used to be baked stuff in the house. There normally still is now, and you know, there's just not as much, but always, you know, if they wanted a snack, there would, you know, like not a, obviously they had healthy snacks as well, but you know what I mean, like a treat snack. There would always at least be some kind of rock buns or something, you know, something like that, some blueberry muffins or something. And Joe says, haha, it's a work in progress. Last cake I made didn't turn out very well taste-wise. The last big cake I made was a chocolate cake. It's a Nigella Lawson recipe. It's really, really good with chocolate ganache. And it was for one of my boys' birthdays. And they wanted it to be an anti-gravity cake. So, you know, one of the ones where you get the packet of the sweets and then you have the sweets cascading down. You use a straw and you stick them on with icing, and that actually turned out, that looked really, really good. I was proud of that one. The next one I need to make is for my dog, because my beautiful boy Hector, my precious boy, who unfortunately is epileptic, and he had a fit earlier today, so I'm kind of, if you catch me like looking nervously down, it's because he's by my feet and I'm kind of keeping an extra eye on him. But anyway, it is his birthday. He's going to be 8 next week. So, and he's told me that he'd like a blueberry cake with cream cheese frosting, which is actually really handy because that's my favorite cake. So isn't that awesome that my dog likes the same cake as I do. Right, where were we? Right, so yeah, saying, yeah, I remember you saying that it was like a coffee cake, and that, yeah, I don't really like coffee cake actually. And Margaret says, I've never heard of an anti-gravity cake. How have you never heard of an anti-gravity cake? They're so awesome because it's like the sweets are kind of coming down. I'll see if I can find a picture of it and I'll send it to you on Insta. I'm sure it must be on Instagram. I'll have a look. I've done a couple of those actually, and they've turned out really well, but they are quite finicky, like getting it. And Joanne says, I need to bake a vegan cake next time. Yeah, I do. I'm trying to think what vegan ones I do. And she said, I found a gluten-free cake recipe. I found it's a really awesome, it's an Italian chocolate cake. It's gluten-free because it uses almond flour. And that is so delicious. It's so good. You serve, I think it's with mascarpone cheese mixed with icing sugar, and it is so good. It's like if I'm having a chocolate cake, I like it to be really chocolatey and like dense. I don't want it to be half-hearted. I'll have a look at that video in a minute. But yeah, that's it. And also there's another, I've got some chocolate brownie recipe that's gluten-free, and that's got loads of chocolate in it. Just uses a little bit of gluten-free flour, and that's really good. Margaret says, oh my god, there's whole books about anti-gravity cakes. I'm just out of the flow apparently. Yeah, my son had looked up like about a year ago or something, it was one of their birthdays, and he'd looked up like best birthday cakes or something online, best birthday cake recipes, because he wanted to bake one with me, and he'd seen it and he was like, yeah, we need to do that. They do look really good. But we need to get on with another sprint, don't we? I'm tired today. And Joanne says, oh, I need that recipe, Emma. Do you have it? I will see if I can find it online. I follow you on Instagram, don't I? What I'll do, if I can't find it online, I've got it in a recipe book. I'll take a picture of the recipe and send it to you. It's so good. And honestly, even people who'd be like, oh, it's gluten-free cake, you can't tell. It's just absolutely delicious and scrummy and yummy. Okie dokes. Right. Let us get back into another sprint, and I will see about recipes and things as well as working. Obviously, I'm focusing on working, but frankly, you guys have got me started on cake. Okay, I'll speak to you in 20. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How did that one go for you? I'm properly chilly now. I'm like properly blanketed up. And I did heat up my tea again. Yeah, so I see we've been joined by a couple of new people, and Margaret also has exciting news. So let's go and have a look in the chat. Oh, I also fed my doggos because they decided that that it was time for them to be fed. So Joanne is hopping off to the grocery store and says, I might join you on my phone since I need to go to the grocery store in a few minutes. So that would be lovely if you were still here. And Margaret's very important happy thought for the day is that I thought the bunnies had disappeared from our lawn, but I spied one out of a side window, which means they're back. So cute. That is lovely. We once had a rabbit that came into our garden, and it was clearly like not a wild rabbit, and it came to us and we picked it up, and we had like a double layer hutch for our guinea pigs. So we put the guinea pigs in the top bit and the rabbit in the bottom bit and took away the ramp. There we go. That's the word. So that they, wouldn't fight or anything. And but one of my boys absolutely fell in love with this rabbit, and we found the owner really quickly, but he so didn't want to give this rabbit back. It was beautiful. It really, really was. I did understand. SD, lovely Shannon has joined us again and says, just finished my sprints, now taking a break before heading into more revision on my novel. Awesome. You are having a busy work day today, like myself. Thank you for joining. And JD as well has joined us, hopping on this sprint as well. Need to get some work done. If you came over here from Shannon's sprint, don't expect like cool timers with dragons and stuff, okay? Like I haven't reached that kind of those heights of sophistication. Yeah, just be grateful for whatever you get here. Everybody else is. SD says, got a snack back to work. Lovely. Inca, that's such a pretty name, says, hi, Emma, just popping over from Shannon's stream, getting some editing done. Thank you so much, Shannon, for sending people over. But again, I repeat, don't expect a fancy timer with dragons and stuff like Shannon does, okay? You want that, you just got to stay over with her. And Margaret says, hey, JD, is it translation this morning? I don't know what translation is this morning. And Shannon says, oh my God, Laura. I don't know why, oh my God. I need more information. Oh my God. And Margaret says, love a snack. I know all this talking about food has got me really, really hungry now. And I'm kind of sad that I don't get my pancakes tonight. Never mind. I'll have them tomorrow. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. Oh, so you talking about the dragon timers? Yeah, it's all fancy and stuff. No, you don't get that over here. Okay, we're basic here. Okay, basic. We'll call it retro. There we go. Yeah, retro productivity sprints. You don't get any of the swanky stuff that you get over with Shannon. Okay, you do get me sipping tea and freezing. Margaret says, oh my God, for the nice timer comments, I think. Yeah, definitely. And I'm in awe of anybody who has the nice timers. Sometimes I do have my friend Joe's cat, Annie. But the thing is, if I can't see when that time is going to end because it doesn't show up properly for me on my tabs. So I have to keep checking it to see how long I've got. And a fox mug. Yeah, fox mug. It's a little bit of a rude fox mug. I don't know if you can say that. If you can see that, but yeah, my sister got me my fox mug and it's really pretty inside. Can you see the inside? Yeah. Shannon says nothing wrong with basic, and Margaret says yes, claim it. Yeah, I'm the Nintendo 64, the AuthorTube world. You guys are like whatever, they're on PlayStation 5s or whatever. Yeah, retro over here. Okay, let's do another 20 minutes timer, and I'll chat to you again in a little bit. Hi, everybody. How did that one go for you? It is 5:38 here. So if we just have a little break now, then I've got time to do one more 20-minute sprint, which would be really good. I think that I've sorted out, or very nearly sorted out, the end of that chapter that I was having trouble with. So that was good. And I've also been messaging the lovely Margaret to see when she's able to come and co-host with me. So that will be really, really nice. There's been loads of chat going on, a lot of which I don't understand, between JD and Margaret about, I'm guessing, his book collection, but I'm very, very confused. So if you'd like to read that, I suggest you go through it yourself, because I don't really know what it's about, but they seem quite happy. That's the main thing, isn't it? Okay, so yeah. Inside of my mug, that was very exciting. Covers of books, very good. Right, so I am so confused by some of this conversation. Maybe somebody can enlighten me. Margaret says, it's happening. That means I finally have to start on that big chunker. There's a big book that you need to read. Is that by JD? I'm so confused. On to cats, though. Cats conversations I generally understand. So show, please. So Margaret says, Little Bean is sitting on the footrest. Come up. Anytime now, Restream, so that I can read it. Thank you. Anytime, Restream. Oh, it's decided not to show it now. Margaret, I don't think that it wants to know what you're saying. But she says, Little Bean is sitting on the footrest. Which makes his head come above the table, and it looks like he's ready to be served a plate. Oh, I have got the best picture of my dog Hector from, I think it was like a date night or Valentine's Day or something. But when he was a puppy, he used to assume that he should sit at the table as well. And we've got a few pictures of him like sat properly at a chair at the table, because that's what like all of his brothers did, so why shouldn't he? But this particular one, he sat at the head of the table, and he's got like a glass of red wine in front of him, and he just looks so civilized and sophisticated. It's one of my favorite pictures of him. And Margaret says, cats save my life sometimes. Cats are awesome. Then it gets confusing again. She says, haven't had a vampire grow on me in a while, so I suppose pre-gaming an August release is a good excuse. No idea, Margaret. Although, right, this is a good point. So Margaret is going to be, she's got 3 tags in a video coming out today. She says, sprints seem to be the carrion call today, but if anyone's interested, I'm doing a roundup of tags in an hour and a half. DNF, personal library, and soggy expat book nerd. Yeah, I've been looking forward to that video. Actually, you've had it. It's been showing up, and I've had it added to my watch later list for a few days, I think. So yeah, looking forward to that. JD says the chime made him jump. Sorry, SD added 19 words. Awesome. JD. It's confusing having JD and an SD. Hey, catching up on lost time, SD, as well the other 2 novels are available. Cool. And sorry for confusing me. That's okay. I don't mind. Yeah, apparently JD just has a lot of projects going on. That's cool. And JD says, I have a bilingual collection, did an all English version, which Margaret was mentioning, also working on the all Spanish version. Oh, very cool. We were, Estelle was saying earlier that she translated her book about London into French by herself, which I just thought was so cool. Apart from that, JD says, I'm working on a Spanish short story collection. Awesome. As for the chunker, I have 2 or 3 novels out in my Human Cycle series. Love that name for a furry friend, Hector. Yeah, he's my Hector. He's my Prince Hector, my Prince of Troy. And then we have Paris as well, because Paris is Hector's brother who came and destroyed his life. So yeah, Paris was going to be Ajax, but we thought that sounded too much like the toilet cleaner. So we went with Paris. He's Prince Paris. Although Paris actually did go through a stage about 3 months after we got him, because he was a rescue. He went through a stage of only like coming to us if we called him. If we said his name in a really dodgy French accent, it was so weird. He'd completely ignore us, and we'd be standing, in the middle of a park or something. And unless we said it like really kind of Gerard Depardieu, dodgy French accent, he would ignore us. But if we said it like that, he'd come running. So weird. And JD says, thanks to Shannon. It's good to be back in the writing saddle. It is. Inka says, I've written myself into a corner and I'm working on it. Oh, that is so frustrating, isn't it? When it's like, you're like, there's only one person to blame. You can only blame yourself. I hope that you managed to write yourself out of it. I'm sad because I had quite a nice little scene that I'm going to have to chop because it just doesn't fit, because so that it could be a Christmas book, I'm having to move it from April to end of November. So there's one particular scene that takes place kind of early evening that I'm just going to have to get rid of. And good choice, Paris over Ajax. Fair enough. Margaret says, I don't know, I like Ajax. Yeah, I like Ajax, but he's he couldn't be anything other than Paris now. Right, okay, so let's do one more 20-minute sprint, and then hopefully we can all go and watch Margaret's video, can't we? Okie dokes. Right, speak to you again in 20. I closed that timer down incredibly carefully because in the last set of sprints that I did on Friday, the end of the last sprint, I went to close down the timer, but I closed down the restream tab instead and ended the stream rather abruptly. So, but that kind of thing happens all the time over here. That's the fun of joining me on this channel. All right, let's have a look and see what you guys got up to. That was the last of our sprints. So we'll just have a little bit of a roundup, and then I am going to make myself and all my family some yummy supper. We've got some sea bass fillets, do a big salad, do some potatoes. I think it's going to be pretty good. Margaret says, put it in the scraps pile. Never know when you can use that cabbage in future work sewing term. Yeah, never. If you chop out like a whole paragraph or anything, never throw it away. Always keep it because it could come in handy. Margaret would like to hear me using my dodgy French accent to call my dog. That ain't going to happen. I explained about my mean husband. Margaret says, what is gurning? It's like when you do stupid faces like that. I have a very expressive face, and my husband's always laughing at me because when I'm like thinking about stuff, I do tend to pull really, really terrible faces like that. So that's basically what gurning is, like weird faces like that. So I'm glad that I showed that to you. And JD says, wow, oh, wow, happy you closed down the timer properly. Yeah, me too. That's actually a first with me for that one. Although any other mistakes that could be made have been made. JD says, what does JD say? Finished revising a short story and halfway through another. Well done. Margaret says, making faces. Well, making faces. Okay, yeah, I could have just said making faces, but it's particular faces. It's not like kind of thing. It's like particularly like lots with the kind of mouth. So there we go. Is that the term from any specific region in the UK? I don't know. I've always just used it, gurning. And obviously my husband uses it. So I'm not sure. SD says, Diane Dobson, Barton writing her sprints on the next hour. And Estelle, yeah, I'm on Estelle's tonight. I'm going to be doing a couple of hours of sprints with Estelle. I'm going to be exhausted by the time that I go to bed. And Margaret says, I've just started reading a book of N.E. Scottish Soldiers' Accounts of World War I, and there's a lot of new terms to me. Oh, sometimes when they do that, like they do like a glossary of the terms at the back. Like I know that my publisher has a glossary of British terms at the back in case there are people who aren't familiar with them. And I think that's quite a good idea. Thank goodness for Google. Inka says, thanks for the sprints, made some deep cuts and added a few words. Lovely. I'm so glad that they were helpful, and I hope that you join me again soon. Inka says, I use gurning as well. London, southeast for me. Yeah, I grew up in London, in the south of London. So yeah, maybe it is like a southeast of England thing. SD says, still working towards getting this book mostly revised by Sunday when it goes to alpha readers. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Oh, SD, I wanted to say, I don't know if you saw, but a copy of your beautiful book, the first in the Clash of Goddesses series, has arrived in my house. I've read the first couple of pages and absolutely love it. Your writing is so beautiful, but I haven't been able to get into it because I've got another book which I'm really enjoying, but it is next on my reading list and I am really, really looking forward to it. SD says, did I mention that I finished the book yesterday? Totally excited to have done. I knew that you had, but I don't think you mentioned it in this sprint. I think you mentioned it in your own sprints earlier. But it's really, really cool. Well done. Many, many congratulations. Margaret says, Northeast, Aberdeen, Dundee, e.g. the Doric. Okay, fair enough. And Shannon says, totally understand. I'm just honored you're reading. Oh, that's so sweet. No, it's a library book that I've got on the go and I need to take it back. Plus, it's really good. It's called the Leviathan, I want to say. And it's really, really cool. Yeah, it's set in like the 16th and 17th centuries, and it's all kind of gothic and creepy. I'm really enjoying that one. Okay, right. Well, I had better go because I've actually only got less than 2 hours now before I am on to sprints with Estelle. So I need to go and cook food for my family and stuff and catch up with them. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am doing more sprints tomorrow, I believe. It's a bit up in the air this week. I'm not doing Thursday. I cancelled my Thursday sprints because I'm going out with my husband. But yeah, I will be doing some on Wednesday and on Friday. So yeah, hope to catch you there. Thank you so much for joining me and have a